Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. India mourns the passing away of former Prime Minister and face of 1991 economic reforms, Dr. Manmohan Singh. 7-day state mourning announced. South Korea's parliament impeaches acting President Han Duck-soo, escalating the political crisis in the country. And in cricket, India bowls out Australia for 474 in first innings on day 2. Steve Smith scores 140. India lose quick wickets in opening session. India mourns the demise of former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, who passed away on Thursday night. President Draupadi Murmu led the nation in paying tribute to the former Prime Minister. She arrived at Dr. Singh's residence at 3 Motilal Nehru Marg and paid her respectful homage to the former Prime Minister. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also reached his residence to pay tribute to the former Prime Minister. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid his last respects to former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh at his residence of 3 Motilal Nehru Marg in the national capital. In a post on X, the Prime Minister said, India will forever remember Manmohan Singh's contribution to our nation. Other leaders, including Home Minister Amit Shah, along with Union Minister and National President of Bharatiya Janata Party, JP Nadda, paid their respects to the departing soul at his residence. Earlier, in a social media post on X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared photographs of his meetings with Dr. Singh. The Prime Minister said on X, and I quote him, India mourns the loss of one of its most distinguished leaders, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji. Rising from humble origins, he rose to become a respected economist. He served in various government positions as well, including as finance minister, leaving a strong imprint on our economic policy over the years. His interventions in Parliament were also insightful. As our Prime Minister, he made extensive efforts to improve people's lives. Unquote. In his condolence message on the demise of former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, Prime Minister Modi talked about his inspirational life and the contributions he made to the country's progress.
पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी के निधन ने हम सभी के हृदय को गहरी पीड़ा पहुंचाई है। उनका जाना एक राष्ट्र के रूप में भी हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी क्षति है। विभाजन के उस दौर में बहुत कुछ खोकर भारत आना और यहाँ जीवन के हर क्षेत्र में उपलब्धियां हासिल करना ये सामान्य बात नहीं है। अभावों और संघर्षों से ऊपर उठकर कैसे ऊंचाइयों को हासिल किया जा सकता है, उनका जीवन ये सीख भावी पीढ़ी को देता रहेगा। अर्थशास्त्री के रूप में उन्होंने अलग अलग स्तर पर भारत सरकार में अनेक सेवाएं दी। एक चुनौतीपूर्ण समय में उन्होंने रिजर्व बैंक के गवर्नर की भूमिका निभाई। पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री भारत रत्न श्री पीवी नरसिम्हा राव जी की सरकार के वित्त मंत्री रहते हुए उन्होंने वित्तीय संकट से घिरे देश को एक नई अर्थव्यवस्था के मार्ग पर प्रशस्त किया। प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में देश के विकास में और प्रगति में उनके योगदान को हमेशा याद किया जाएगा।
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has always held high regard for former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. PM's speech in Rajya Sabha in February this year stands out as an example. It was when the upper house met to pay gratitude to the members who were retiring, a list that also included Dr. Singh. He recalled how Dr. Singh, despite health challenges, came to cast his vote, setting an inspiring example of responsibility.
जिस प्रकार से उन्होंने अपने जीवन को कंडक्ट किया होता है, जिस प्रकार की प्रतिभा के दर्शन उन्होंने अपने कार्यकाल में कराए होते हैं, उसका हमने एक गाइडिंग लाइट के रूप में सीखने के लिए प्रयास करना चाहिए। मुझे याद है उस सदन के अंदर लास्ट कुछ दिनों में एक वोटिंग का अवसर था, विषय तो मैं छूट गया मेरा, लेकिन पता था कि विजय ट्रेजरी बैंक की होने वाली है। अंतर भी बहुत था, लेकिन डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी व्हील चेयर में आए, वोट किया। एक सांसद अपने दायित्व के लिए कितना सजग है उसका वो उदाहरण है, वो प्रेरक उदाहरण था। इतना ही नहीं, मैं देख रहा था कभी कमिटी के चुनाव हुए, कमिटी मेंबर्स के, वो व्हीलचेयर में वोट देने आए। सवाल ये नहीं है कि वो किसको ताकत देने के लिए आए थे, मैं मानता हूं वो लोकतंत्र को ताकत देने आए थे।
Meanwhile, Union Cabinet, chaired by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, passed a condolence resolution in the memory of Dr. Manmohan Singh, former Prime Minister. The Cabinet paid homage to Dr. Manmohan Singh by observing a 2-minute silence. A 7-day state mourning has been declared till January 1st, 2025. During the mourning period, the national flag will fly half-mast throughout the country. The national flag will also fly half-mast in all the Indian missions and high commissions abroad till 1st of January 2025. Dr. Manmohan Singh will be accorded a state funeral. On the day of the state funeral, a half-day holiday will be declared in all the central government offices and CPSUs. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge mourned the loss of a lifelong senior colleague, Dr. Manmohan Singh. In a post on X, he wrote that with the passing of the former Prime Minister, India has lost a visionary statesman, a leader of unimpeccable integrity and an economist of unparalleled stature. The leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, also reached the former Prime Minister's home to pay his tributes. Congress MPs Sonia and Priyanka Gandhi were also in attendance. Condolences have also poured in from across the globe following the demise of Dr. Manmohan Singh. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken offered his condolences to the former Indian Prime Minister, calling him one of the greatest champions of US-India strategic partnership. Leaders from countries including Afghanistan, Maldives, Russia and Canada expressed deep grief over Dr. Singh's passing, highlighting his contributions and warm relations with their nations. Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was also known as the architect of India's economic liberalization, passed away on Thursday night at the age of 92. He breathed his last at the AIIMS New Delhi emergency ward after being in a critical condition. He retired from the Rajya Sabha in April 2024. Despite his age-related illness, Dr. Singh attended some sessions of Parliament in a wheelchair, a rare display of dedication by the 92-year-old academician and economic strategist. Here's a look at the life and times of late Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Manmohan Singh, a pioneering economic administrator, statesman, and India's third longest-serving Prime Minister, passed away at the age of 92. A towering figure in India's public life, his remarkable journey from humble beginnings to shaping the nation's economic and political landscape will be remembered for generations to come. Born on the 26th of September in the year 1932 in a village in Punjab province of undivided India, Singh excelled in studies despite limited resources. He won a place at Cambridge University before heading to Oxford, earning a doctorate with a thesis on the role of exports and free trade in India's economy. His book, India's Export Trends and Prospects for Self-Sustained Growth, was an early critique of India's inward-oriented trade policy. His academic credentials were burnished by his years on the faculty of Punjab University and the prestigious Delhi School of Economics. In the year 1971, Singh joined the Government of India as an economic advisor in the Commerce Ministry. This was soon followed by his appointment as the Chief Economic Advisor in the Ministry of Finance in 1972. Among the many governmental positions that Manmohan Singh occupied were the Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission, Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, Advisor of the Prime Minister, and Chairman of the University Grants Commission. He was nominated to the Rajya Sabha for the first time by the Congress Party in October 1991, 4 months after he became the Union Finance Minister. He represented Assam for 5 terms in the Rajya Sabha and shifted to Rajasthan in 2019, his last term that ended in April this year. He was the Prime Minister for 2 successive terms. One of the biggest highlights of Singh's regime was securing the India-US Civil Nuclear Agreement that opened up civilian nuclear cooperation. Manmohan Singh led the UPA government delivered about 8.5% GDP growth. The 2 UPA regimes led by Manmohan Singh are credited with the launch of social welfare initiatives such as guaranteed job schemes, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee, and the right to education for every child. Dr. Manmohan Singh's years as Prime Minister were, however, marred with scams like 2G, CWG, and coal block allocations. Despite the late hiccups, Singh's image as a clean leader remained untarnished. He will be remembered as the architect of India's tryst with economic liberalization and sustained economic growth. Bureau Report, DD India.
You're watching DD India Live, still to come on the show. Azerbaijan sets up a special commission to investigate the plane crash. And UN chief urges Mozambican leaders to diffuse unrest amid October's disputed elections.
This year, the Wall of Sports gave unforgettable moments that will forever echo in the halls of glory. From Paris Olympics 2024 to India's trailblazing success at the Paralympics, chess prodigy Gukesh conquering the world. India ended a long way to bring home the T20 World Cup glory. And on the European stage, Spain proved their dominance yet again. Relive the drama, the triumphs and the passion that defines Sports Saga 2024.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Tanvi Taneja. South Korean Parliament impeached the acting president Han Duck-soo on Friday as the country struggles to shake off political turmoil sparked by his predecessor's martial law declaration that shocked the world. Han Duck-soo took over as acting president from President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was suspended following a parliamentary vote over his move to impose martial law on December 3rd. However, opposition MPs demanded Han, who is also Prime Minister, be removed from office as well, arguing that he had refused demands to complete Yoon's impeachment process and to bring him to justice. Counting for the impeachment was delayed as ruling People's Power Party (PPP) lawmakers protested in Parliament after Wu said only a simple majority was needed in the 300-member parliament to proceed with the impeachment. PPP lawmakers began chanting angrily and many rushed towards Wu, demanding that he resign. They did not take part in the vote. It became the second impeachment of a South Korean head of state in just 2 weeks, adding to the turmoil of the country's dynamic political landscape. Meanwhile, South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok said on Friday that the government has ordered the military to step up vigilance, raising the possibility that North Korea could take advantage of South's political situation to carry out acts of provocation. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, in a social media post on X, said, delighted to meet Secretary Blinken last evening in Washington, D.C., reviewed the advancement of partnership over the last 4 years, agreed that our cooperation has strengthened in many domains, just as our comfort levels have grown correspondingly. Confident that India-US relationship will serve our mutual interests as well as global good, wrote Dr. S. Jaishankar. Azerbaijan set up a special commission and sent its delegation to investigate causes and all the details of the plane crash in Kazakhstan. Following the incident, President Aliyev returned home from Russia, where he had been due to attend a summit of CIS countries' leaders on Wednesday. On Thursday, Azerbaijan observed Day of Mourning for victims of the passenger plane crash. 14 Azerbaijani citizens who survived the plane crash near Aktau in Kazakhstan arrived in Baku on Thursday. 7 of the survivors were transported to hospitals by ambulances. Another 7 injured and the bodies of 4 victims arrived at Baku on a second plane. The rest of the Azerbaijani citizens who survived the crash will remain in Kazakhstan, where they will undergo medical treatment. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged Mozambique's political leaders to ease tensions that led to the civil unrest linked to October's disputed election. A recent prison riot in the country's capital Maputo resulted in 33 deaths and 15 injuries, while Mozambique's top court decision on Monday confirming long-ruling party Frelimo's victory in the election sparked fresh nationwide protests by opposition groups and their supporters who claimed that the vote was rigged. The UN chief spokesperson said in a press briefing that the Secretary General is concerned about the post-election violence, which has resulted in the loss of lives and destruction of public and private property.
The Secretary General is concerned about the post-election violence which has resulted in loss of lives and the destruction of public and private property. He urges all political leaders and relevant national stakeholders to diffuse tensions, including through meaningful dialogue, legal redress, refrain from the use of violence, and redouble efforts to seek a peaceful resolution to the ongoing crisis in a constructive manner, which is essential to the collective future of Mozambicans.
In the latest escalation in the West Asia conflict, Israel struck multiple targets linked to Houthis in Yemen, including the Sana'a International Airport, leaving at least 6 people dead. In addition to striking the airport, the Israeli military said it also targeted military infrastructure at ports on Yemen's west coast and 2 power stations. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to continue its mission until it was complete. Defense Minister Katz added that Israel will continue attacking Houthis to remove the threats to the state of Israel.
We have just seen a precise operation by the Israeli Air Force hitting specific Houthi targets in Yemen at the airport, at the port. As we said, whoever hurts Israel, we will hurt him. We will hunt down all the Houthi leaders, hit them as we have done elsewhere. No one will be able to escape Israel's long measure. We will attack them in order to remove threats to the state of Israel.
Israel's retaliatory strikes come as Houthis have repeatedly attacked the country with drones and missiles since the start of the Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza. The United Nations has expressed concern over Israel's latest airstrikes in Yemen, warning of further regional escalation, with the spokesperson of UN Chief Antonio Guterres saying that the airstrikes on Yemen's Sana'a International Airport, the Red Sea ports and power stations were particularly alarming.
The Secretary General remains deeply concerned about the risk of further escalation in the region and reiterates his call for all parties concerned to cease all military actions and to exercise utmost restraint. He also warns that airstrikes on Red Sea ports and Sana'a airport pose grave risks to humanitarian operations at a time when millions of people are in need of life-saving assistance.
On to some weather updates now. India's national capital witnessed widespread rainfall in the wee hours of Friday morning, bringing a noticeable drop in temperature and intensifying the winter chill. The active western disturbance and its interaction with easterly winds is causing light to moderate rainfall or thunderstorm over northwest and central India, including NCR, Delhi. The Indian Meteorological Department stated that the lowest recorded temperature is 12 degrees Celsius. With dipping temperatures, people are advised to brace for colder nights ahead. The air quality of New Delhi was also improved by the rain. Meanwhile, the Indian Met Department has issued a yellow alert for multiple districts of Maharashtra, also indicating possibilities of thunderstorms and light to moderate rainfall from December 26th to 28th. It is also forecast that cloudy weather conditions will subside from December 29th, bringing clear skies to Maharashtra. With dry weather and the return of northerly cooler winds, temperatures are expected to drop significantly, setting a chilly tone for the new year across the state. Amid the ongoing Christmas celebration worldwide, Himachal Pradesh's popular tourist destinations are covered in snow due to a fresh spell of snowfall. The Weather Department has issued an orange alert for light to moderate snowfall, along with a few heavy spells over many parts of high and adjoining mid-hills from tomorrow till December 29th. Besides, cold to severely cold day conditions will prevail at many places till December 29th. Temperature in Shimla and Manali in Himachal Pradesh has dropped several degrees below freezing point. The extreme weather conditions have made these cities perfect spots for tourists to enjoy their Christmas and New Year holidays. And on to some business news now. After the long Christmas break and heading towards the new year, Germany is taking stock, looking at its battered economy. And while there is some optimism that the once powerful economic engine of Europe will navigate out of its crisis, it seems some problems are more stubborn than they hoped for. Lars Holte is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin now. Lars, what are those latest issues plaguing the German economic outlook?
Thanks for having me. Well, it's got to do with energy again, and that's no big surprise. Energy prices have been high in Germany for a while now. Obviously, this all started with Russia's invasion and war in Ukraine. Germany, as we've often discussed in the past, used to get almost all of its gas from Russia. And when that supply dried up due to sanctions over the war, Germany found itself without the amount of energy that is needed by much of the country's industry. And while Germany has started importing LNG, and even though the country has been building up its renewable energy sector, prices have remained high. And here's the news. A new report by one of the top German economic institutes warns that these stubbornly high prices will likely lead some major companies to relocate and move business to other countries with lower energy prices. Now, it's unlikely, of course, that steel plants or some other mega users relocate, of course, but there are enough companies in the metal, industrial and chemical sector that have already started moving at least parts of their business, and that is a major concern.
And how many companies are we talking about, Lars, and is this at a problematic level?
I actually don't have a number for the companies who are likely to move away, but what makes this really dangerous is that with major players moving away, smaller companies would be affected too. And that includes suppliers, it includes customers of parts or certain products, it includes small companies in the vicinity of those bigger ones, down to the infrastructure in towns maybe where thousands of jobs might be cut and the entire local or regional economy would suffer. And that is why economists are extremely concerned. Also, once some companies have made a move, others might follow, and then you might be looking at an exodus of certain companies. Experts are talking about a structural crisis for Germany, and that is certainly alarming.
Thank you, Lars. Lars Walter reporting from DW Berlin. Now, some news on the 22nd convocation of Northeast India's premier university, the Tezpur University. It is a central university located in the northeastern Indian state of Assam. The chairman of University Grants Commission, Professor Mamidala Jagadesh Kumar, along with the Assam governor and Chancellor Lakshman Prasad Acharya, presided over the 22nd convocation of this university. Professor Kumar praised India's achievements in space exploration and urged students to address climate change and biodiversity issues. He emphasized that the role of NEP 2020 in building a developed India by 2047. Assam Governor Acharya awarded degrees and medals to students, highlighting the importance of higher education in nation building. And in cricket, India suffered a disastrous run out and Scott Boland took 2 wickets to leave the visitors in a major trouble on day 2 of the 4th test against Australia. India were 164 runs for the loss of 5 wickets at stumps, trailing by 310 runs. Rishabh Pant was not out at 6 and Ravindra Jadeja on 4 as 3 wickets in the final half hour halted India's momentum. Scott Boland and skipper Pat Cummins grabbed 2 wickets each while Yashasvi Jaiswal was run out. Earlier, Australia put up a daunting first innings score of 474 runs on the back of Steve Smith's century. Smith scored his 34th test century on the way to 140 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live, and you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.